All right, so today we're diving deep into a story about assumptions and a little bit of karma. It all starts with a wedding cake. In fact, Bianca Ojukwu's wedding cake.
Oh, this one is a classic.
Yeah.
It really shows you why you should never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. So picture this. Bianca is planning her wedding and needs a cake. Right. A friend recommends this amazing cake maker in Enugu. So Bianca sets off to meet her, but here's the thing. She's driven by a friend in an old Volkswagen Beetle.
Uh-huh. I bet that's where things get interesting.
You bet it is. Our cake maker sees this Beetle pull up and immediately makes assumptions about Bianca, like she can't afford a fancy cake or something.
It's amazing how quick we are to judge people based on appearances, isn't it?
It really is. We try to put everyone in a box, but people are so much more than that.
Right. And this cake maker, she completely misses the mark on who Bianca really is. Talk about a missed opportunity.
What gets me is how Bianca handles the whole thing. She doesn't even flinch. She just gives her Igbo name, Odinaka, and lets the cake maker run with it.
Whoa, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Was that a power move, you think? Or was she just humoring the whole situation?
It's hard to say, but it's brilliant either way, and it sets the stage for what happens next.
Okay, so what happens next? Fill me in.
So the cake maker, she's not just making assumptions about Bianca's budget.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's going on and on about how she only flies, never drives, and even questioning if Bianca can get the cake to Abuja.
Like she's trying to prove she's some kind of high society baker.
Exactly. But get this, the whole time she's driving a beat-up old Corolla and working out of a pretty modest space.
Oh, the irony. You can't make this stuff up.
But this is just the beginning. The real kicker is what happens with the cake.
Okay, I'm hooked. Now I gotta know what happens with the cake. Does Bianca even end up getting a cake from this woman?
Well, that's the thing. She ends up finding something much more spectacular.
Oh, so she ditches the Enugu baker. What happens?
Let's just say Bianca ends up with a cake that not only wows everyone at her wedding, but it changes the whole wedding scene in Abuja.
Okay, now I really need to hear the rest of this story. We gotta dive into what happens next.
Okay, so while our cake maker back in Enugu is busy judging covers, Bianca is at the Hilton in Abuja. And you won't believe this.
What happens? What happens?
A master baker at the hotel hears about Bianca's predicament,
Right?
and offers to make her wedding cake as a gift.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah. But it's not just any cake. This thing was a masterpiece, multi-tiered, extravagant, you name it.
So Bianca get this amazing free cake, and the hotel, what do they get out of
Well,
it?
they get a ton of publicity. This cake was a media sensation, pictures everywhere, everyone's talking about it.
Wow, talk about a win-win situation.
Right, suddenly the Hilton is the place to get married in Abuja, all thanks to this cake.
What about our cake maker in Enugu? I bet she's kicking herself.
You think?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine her sitting at home watching this all unfold on TV.
Seeing the woman she dismissed. The one who couldn't afford a fancy cake.
Oof, talk about a reality check.
And it gets even better because a week before the wedding, guess who shows up at Bianca's house?
The cake maker. No way.
Oh yeah, begging for forgiveness, offering to bake the cake for free.
Too little too late, I guess.
Definitely Bianca already has her dream cake. And her wedding is the talk of the town.
Wow, what a story. What do you think would have happened if that cake maker had just treated Bianca with respect from the beginning?
Who knows? Maybe Bianca would have been so impressed with her skills that she would have chosen her anyway.
True. You never know what can happen when you treat people with kindness.
And think about the lost opportunity. The cake maker's business actually ended up failing.
While they're not on Hilton.
Their wedding business, oh, it boomed.
Like karma came back around full circle.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how we treat people.
The good reminder to check our assumptions at the door. You never know who you're talking to.
And what they might be capable of. That person you dismissed today could be on their way to changing the world. You know, it's amazing how one small decision can have such a ripple effect.
It really is. One little choice, and everything changes.
Like in this story, the cake maker's assumptions about Bianca cost her everything.
Her business, her reputation, maybe even her peace of mind.
Imagine being known as the cake maker who turned away Bianca Ojukwu because of a car.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's gotta sting. And it really highlights the power of word of mouth, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So, what's the takeaway here? Besides the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing, what can our listeners learn from this?
I think it comes down to curiosity over judgment, you know?
Instead of jumping to conclusions about someone?
Exactly. Why not try to see beyond the surface? Ask questions.
Yeah.
Listen. Be open to being surprised.
Like, instead of seeing that old beetle as a sign of failure.
Right. You could see it as a sign of resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Maybe they have different priorities.
And who knows? That shift in perspective could lead to amazing things.
You might make a new friend, or a mentor, or even a business partner.
All because you chose to be curious instead of judgmental.
It's powerful stuff.
This whole story, it's really about so much more than just a wedding cake.
It's about how we see the world and how we treat each other.
And the choices we make every single day.
And the best part is, we all have the power to choose differently.
To choose kindness, to choose understanding, to choose to see the potential in everyone we meet.
Beautifully said.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We hope you learn a thing or two about assumptions and the power in an open mind.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to bake a cake or two.
Until next time, remember, never underestimate the power of a kind heart.